So we are at the last tutorial, and at the end of this tutorial, we will have an assignment discussion as well. So let me start. So what we're going to do today, we are going to be able to configure computer system. So looking into our indicative content, today we're going to look into operating systems in more detail.
Okay.
So we will cover Microsoft Windows with all the versions, Apple, and Linux. Then we will look into system user. So we're going to describe all the characteristics of different style of user interface. So we will also look into the requirements. For example, we're going to look at types like Office, Home. Then we'll look into other components like networking and communication, and how is a system software. Then we'll look into application software, utilities, and then we'll conclusively look into how to connect and set up our environment.
Right.
So I think this concept we've already explained yesterday, but we will now look into the definition. So what do we mean by operating system components? So an operating system facilitates an exchange of information between processes executing on the same or different systems. Operating system components help you to make sure that you get the correct computing by detecting errors in the CPU and memory hard drive. So the definition tells us what is the main purpose of an operating system and how it helps our CPU performance. So I have a quick video to share with you regarding operating systems. Let's go.
Hello friends. I welcome you all to TechMite. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I am here to tell you about operating systems. Let's start with the definition. An operating system is a software that acts as an interface between computer hardware components and the user. Every computer system must have at least one operating system to run other programs. Applications like browsers, MS Office, Notepad, etc. need some environment to run and perform its tasks. The operating system helps you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer's language. It is not possible for the user to use any computer or mobile device without having an operating system. Types of operating system. 1. Batch operating system. 2. Multitasking or time-sharing operating system. 3. Multiprocessing operating system. 4. Real-time operating system. 5. Distributed operating system. 6. Network operating system. 7. Mobile operating system. We will discuss all these types in detail in another video. Functions of operating system. In an operating system, software performs each of the following functions: process management, memory management, file management, device management, input-output system management, secondary storage management, security, command interpretation, networking, job accounting, communication management. Features of operating system. Here is a list of important features of operating system. Protected in supervisor mode. Allows disk access and file systems device drivers networking security. Program execution. Memory management. Handling input-output operations. Manipulation of the file system. Error detection and handling. Resource allocation. Information and resource protection. Advantage of using operating system. 1. Allows you to hide details of hardware by creating an abstraction. 2. Easy to use with a GUI. 3. Offers an environment in which a user may execute programs. 4. The operating system must make sure that the computer system convenient to use. 5. Operating system acts as an intermediary among applications and the hardware components. 6. It provides the computer system resources with easy-to-use format. 7. Acts as an intermediator between all hardwares and softwares of the system. Disadvantages of using operating system. 1. If any issue occurs in operating system, you may lose all the contents which have been stored in your system. 2. Operating system software is quite expensive for small-size organization, which adds burden on them. For example, Windows. 3. It is never entirely secure as a threat can occur at any time. Examples of operating systems are Windows, Android, iOS, Mac, Linux, Chrome operating system, Windows Phone operating system. That's all for today, guys. If you liked the video or learnt something, then please support me by liking it, sharing it, commenting on it, and subscribing to TechMite. If you want to see helpful and informative posts on technology, then do follow me on Instagram. I will put the link in the description. Thanks.
Okay, so the video gave us an introduction of what we will cover today.
Right.
Let me just get back to the slides. Yeah, so he listed a few types of operating systems. So what we will cover today is those ones that we do require for desktop and PCs. So as they mentioned in the video, there is Windows. So the first version of Windows was released in 1985, and we all know who the founder is, which is Mr. Bill Gates. So he had a simple GUI, graphical user interface, which offered as an extension of Microsoft's existing disk operating system. So it is the most popular out there due to the fact of its affordability and ease to use. So it is quite simple and affordable. That's what I think is the most popular nowadays. Then we have Mac operating system, Mac OS, which has some different functionality from Windows, but I would say they pretty much do the same thing, but it's just the graphical operating system, which might be a bit different. Then we have Linux, which we explained yesterday, where we spoke about the benefit of using Linux when it comes to ethical hacking or pen testing. So as you can see in the recent year, Linux distribution have become far more sophisticated and user-friendly. And the cost of deploying can be a fraction of more traditional large-scale desktop installation. So what this means that the use of Linux has expanded significantly in the past years, and I think a lot of people are getting to learn Linux for any type of ethical hacking, depending on if you're red hat, gray hat, or white hat hacker. Now we're going to describe the characteristic of different style of computing systems. So when it comes to computing system, we have three major types. So we have advanced user, casual user, and a basic user. So what do we mean by these? With the basic user, which is a beginner or newbie, these are users who started using a computer, and they will now require a lot of assistance, so they're not really practical with PCs. Then we have casual, so these are people a little bit more advanced, but not to a professional level, so they have a bit of knowledge regarding operating system and how to manage them. Then we have advanced people who work with computers on a daily and do a lot of research. So characteristic of a computer, we have already covered them yesterday. So we already know the component and how to assemble these. User interface, which is a GUI, graphical user interface. It is simply the representation of our code. So whatever we code, we can now create a user interface where people can now use this as users, basically. Then we have menu-driven interface, which is simply provide us with a range of command and option, which will allow us to form a list or menu to display in the full screen. Now we're going to evaluate suitable components to meet user requirements within a professional environment. So what do we mean by these components? So when it comes to working in a corporate world, or in a large organization, there are some certain requirements that we need to meet. So we have to have the ability and the skills for us to reach to these components. So some of them could be related to file management, so the ability for us to manage file data within the organization. Then we have network management, so this will be something related to fundamental of network engineering. Process management, when it comes to processing data, accessing data, and manipulating data. Then we have main memory management, which will now relate to where our data is going to be stored. Then we have secondary storage management, input-output device management, security management, and command interpreter system. So as we mentioned, by process management, it is a procedure for managing many process running simultaneously in the operating system. So what does this mean? There are different type of programs that are
Like
running.
task manager in Windows, it shows you all the processes.
Yes, basically, yeah, that's where I wanted to get. So on our task manager, it shows you everything. It shows you also our RAM and the performance of our computer. So depending on how many core, so say for instance, we have a PC, a processor which is quad core, which means we have 4 core, and our process management will be faster compared to a PC that is a dual core. So depending on the size of your organization, some places they will now work with some PC that will have 12 core or even more. So by having all these process units, they're able to process as much as program as possible without the PC running slow. When it comes to file management, file is a set of related information.
File Explorer.
Yeah, so basically is the ability to manage File Explorer, so the ability to store data and documents or move them around folders. So these might be simple concept, but I know there are a lot of people that they don't know how to use file management. And maybe if you've seen with the new version of Windows 11, file management, File Explorer, it has different tabs. So they made in a way where it looks like a web browser. And there is loads of new features which can be used with Windows 11. Also, we have network management. So by network management, it is the process of administrating and managing the computer networks. So it will now include performance management, provision of network, fault analysis, and maintaining the quality of the service. Main memory management, which is a large array of storage of bytes, and which has an address. So what the main purpose is simply to be the primary storage of our PC, where all these files will now be stored. Then you have secondary.
Like a hard drive.
Yes, kind of like a hard drive. While secondary storage will now be the most important task of our computer system, and it is to execute programs. So it is our RAM, our volatile, our random access memory. So you will have a maybe smaller space, smaller storage, something like 4 GB or 16 or 32 or 64, and this will now give us access quickly to our data. Then we have input and output device management. So this will be now related to our sound driver, our graphic driver. So all these drivers that we have in the PC, and we need to be able to manage them from our input and output device management, which is a code actually device manager thing. Yeah.
Yes, device manager.
Right. Yeah, device manager. Yeah. Security management. So this will come down into our firewall and all our security systems. So you know, Windows and every operating system has their own built-in security system, but at the same time, they're not as good as maybe using antiviruses programs. But I would still say that they're quite decent, so you shouldn't have any issue until any type of cyber attack. When it comes to software configuration, we now need to look into how this has to be managed. And this is the process where in a series of steps, there's a design to track and manage all the defects, resources, code, and documents, hard drive on budget through a project. So what those is an interdisciplinary process which now involve people at every level, which could be DevOps engineers, DevOps engineers, project managers, owners, and system administrators and testers. So you look into a full system development life cycle where all the department will be now involved in the creation of the software. So how does how will this be done? This will be done through a planning phase, where they will now identify the constraints. Then you have a version control at baseline. Then you have change control, configuration status, acting on audits and reviews. So it is basically looking into our system development lifecycle. So this was a very short session, and now if there is no any question, we can now look into the assignment discussion.
Yeah, I have no questions.
Okay, let me just